Hello, heroes. Thank you all for tuning in to episode number 41 of the Nexus podcast. As usual, I'm your host, Adam Eastwood, and with me I have our lore-loving, time-altering gamer, David Troy.
I am really glad to be here. I'm very excited to talk about all the news from PAX and also about, in honor of the late, great Joan Rivers, I'm really excited to do our fashion critique of the new Master skins.
We have our Blizzard and eSport enthusiast, Ben Blazik.
Greetings, everybody, from the Nexus, where the rage is real.
I feel like that's pointed at somebody in particular.
We'll get there.
We have the amazing Joshua Williams.
That is me. How is everyone doing this fine Friday night? I guess it's now night. Hopefully you guys are doing well.
Yes, I am. I'm doing well at this point. I've had some fun today this week in games, but we'll get to me last like usual. We'll start off with Joshua. Why don't we go ahead and start with you? What have you been up to?
I have been up to Diablo, like non-stop. I've been playing it a lot. I've been working on my seasonal character. I hit level 70. It went live Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And I hit 70 the next afternoon, or Saturday afternoon, with the Crusader. So I've been doing that a lot and just getting gear for my Crusader and having a blast over there.
Mm-hmm. You play any Heroes of the Storm, maybe?
No, I was hoping to have been playing with new heroes this week. That's what I'm waiting for. But, as we all know, they didn't add them yet.
Yeah. In terms of when we're getting them, I'm hoping next week. I really am.
Yeah.
We need something. I'm itching.
Mm-hmm.
I got an itch.
That's what I'm waiting for, is the new heroes get added to it. You play heroes, if they don't update it, it's the same thing. It's not like you're missing something new or something like that if they don't add anything to it. So I'm like, I'll just wait for new heroes.
But it's heroes. That's the point. It's the arena.
But it's Diablo. The main point is I'm playing a Blizzard game.
I'm pretty sure that's not the requirement, but we'll let it pass for now.
Thank you. I gotta know what these heroes' role past stories are, like Vala and Teriel. I gotta learn their past and history.
That's when you just ask David. That's the way to go. That's why we have him here. Be like, hey, what's up with these people? Just so I can go and smash face with them. That's the whole point. David, what have you been up to lately?
I had a pretty interesting week, actually. I didn't really get a lot of chance to play a varied amount of games. I did actually kind of fluke my way into watching the StarCraft regionals, though. They were being held in Toronto at our fan expo, and I was there on Saturday. And so I know there was some leak stuff going on, but I saw that thing. There was actually they were broadcasting live the StarCraft, and I just sort of fluked into watching Snoot from Team Liquid play Flash. Which I found out later was like an awesome matchup. So it was actually a really, really great match. Snoot was up 2-0, and Flash came back to win the next 3 games. It was pretty epic. They had about 1,000, 1,500 people in the crowd watching it. And I'll have to sort of picture it. This is in the main convention hall, so you've got basically like the StarCraft matches going on right next to all the celebrity stuff going on. So you've got like Matt Smith from Doctor Who not far away and things like that. So it was really cool to be about 20 feet away. Actually getting a chance to watch esports live, I do have a greater appreciation of the excitement about it and how the crowd can really get in. So that was pretty epic. I actually played a lot of Diablo 3, probably Diablo 3 to play together. Just really, really powered up monk, and was having a lot of fun with it. And I hadn't really played a lot of it since they'd made the big changes to the loot, and I could really, really feel the difference. And I was like, oh, okay, I can totally play this game until Warlords. I was going to jump into a lot of heroes tonight, but I'm having a little bit of systems issues, which you may notice because I have no head on the live video podcast. I'm just a disembodied voice. So I didn't really get a chance. I got a chance to play one game as Nova and was doing surprisingly well, considering I was getting about like 1 frame per 5 seconds. So, but I didn't get a chance to play as much as I'd like to. I wanted to power through a lot of it tonight, but wasn't to be.
And for those of us that don't live in Canada, which is pretty much the three of us, Fan Expo in terms of size, I was looking up a little bit. It's more like along the size of like San Diego Comic-Con, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like huge.
Yeah. I started off like around Ubisoft especially has a big press because there's much stuff there. It is a lot. It's definitely that would be for shot just on a your as well.
Okay, Ben, what have you been up to in terms of gaming this past week?
Oh, you don't want me to translate robot?
No.
Playing lots of heroes with the team and casual play as well. I want to make an important note though, and concern to the community. All right, we played a match about an hour ago with a troubled young man. His name is Andivin, or however you say it. I really don't care at this point. If anyone knows this Heroes of the Storm player who thinks he is top dog on Tassadar, we need to get him on here, onto the show, and get this young teenage angry child some help before he busts a nerd vessel, because I strongly believe that he is a troubled young man who needs our guidance more than ever before he rages out and hurts some girl's Barbie dolls when he finally explodes.
No, I got a message from him as well after the match because I guess I must have, because what I say, I said something like, I was like, oh, if you know how to play Uther, maybe you should play him instead of Ben or Stax, you know. And he's like, oh, defending your friend. I'm like, yeah, well, that's kind of why we're in the game. When you get flamed by someone, you got to have backup.
Yeah, this little troll wannabe sent both of us a message after the game, and then immediately ignored us after he sent the message, just so that way we couldn't rebuttal, which tells me he's a little kid who can't play the comeback game because he doesn't like being told he's wrong. So please, if anybody knows this guy, please, let's get him on here. Let's talk to him. I won't discuss what he said in the message because it's not appropriate for the show, but it is on my Twitter. I took a screenshot of it if anybody wants to see it. So you can go to my Twitter and you can see the picture that I uploaded of the conversation. You can see it from there. You know what I'm saying? Just let's help this young man in need, because we don't need another, StarCraft player stabbing a 14-year-old girl because he lost internet connection. So let's evade the violence a little bit.
I feel like we're like flame shaming people. Like if you you flame people, you're gonna get shamed.
Can I scare him with my robot voice?
You absolutely deserve it. If that's the way you're gonna be, especially if you ignore somebody after you send a message just the way they can't reply. Absolutely, there no mercy.
And I wonder if that would be too controversial of a segment for the show where people send in who they want to tell off because they flamed them.
I feel like we could do a special show for that.
Yeah, we're like, this is
I'd sit on it.
A yearly episode of this is the list of everyone that's been flamed and thank you from who,
The Scarlet Letter episode.
Man, that would be like the 5-hour episode at least if we did it once a year. Well, other than that, Ben, how's your games been going so far this week?
Been okay. Playing, a lot of heroes with you and, the teammates, and just kind of getting our practice in. We still need that solid 5th before we actually start having, like, major practice. Mm-hmm. It's been going all right, back and forth, pretty good. And I've been slowly getting back into SWTOR again, too. So, playing a ton of heroes and a little bit of SWTOR in my spare time, just because I'm a Star Wars nerd at heart. So, and I doubt anybody can see it, but I do have a picture or a poster of Vader up on my wall behind me. So, other than that, straightforward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you said, we've been playing a lot of games. Wednesdays, Thursdays, we've been kind of doing our practice, which is good to have we have a steady 4 at this point, which is fun. I think our big thing, I think we talked about, is the initiating we need to work on. Make sure we're not just running in head first. But it's been a lot of fun. And then this week, I finally got my first master skin. Yay, me.
Yay.
Very nice.
No, it was not Murky. It was Stitches.
Oh,
so I have
okay.
the Fleur de Lis that you love so much?
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm very jealous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very jealous. Yeah, that's a good look.
Yeah, next time we play, I'll play him so you can be jealous as I throw it out and
I'll be
grab
very
people
jealous.
with it.
Yes, very much so.
So, beyond that, I've been playing a little bit of Vala, right? Yeah. No, Sonya. I always flip those two. Playing some Sonya, the barbarian. It's interesting because she's not as tanky as I think I'd want her to be, but she does put out more damage than your average kind of tanky build. So it's just a little different than playing either Arthas or Stitches. But although Arthas does put out a lot of damage himself as well, but he can deal a lot of damage and take a lot of damage. I think he's still a little over-tuned at this point. That's why I've been playing him. I got skin color on him as well this past week, which has been a lot of fun. Anything else going on with you guys this week at all in terms of gaming, or get ready to just get into the news?
Dude, I'm so ready for ranked mode now. Like, if we don't get ranked mode in the next couple months, I might burst a nerd vessel.
Jeez, how many are you going to burst?
Well, he has like 8
A
of them,
lot.
and
Yeah,
I think 6 of them are gone.
They slowly regenerate over time.
That's good. I'm glad you got that talent.
Okay, well, we'll get right back. Oh, we'll get right into the news then this week.
Right back into it.
Right back into it. I don't know why I said back. So with the news, kind of the big news in terms of overall Blizzard is that the BlizzCon virtual ticket is now available for purchase. And I've done this every other year, but this year, because I'm going to BlizzCon, and I will get the virtual ticket as part of it. So if you're going to BlizzCon, you do get it. And they did announce that you're going to be getting pretty much a in-game prize for every single game that Blizzard puts out. David, because you're not going to BlizzCon this year, are you actually going to be getting the virtual ticket or no?
Oh, absolutely. I did last year too. I mean, it's great. I mean, to be honest, I didn't actually get to watch a lot of BlizzCon live. It just my schedule didn't work out for it. But, I was able to pop right in and see the replays right away. Like, it's great that you can do that. I think that's a great added bonus. My wife was giving me a hard time. It's like, geez, you spend so much on video games, you're spending another $40. And as you guys know, I don't spend that much on video games. But I figured I'd tell her, I don't think of it as spending $40, but saving the $960 from going there live. So,
If you put it that way, she can't really argue, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. No, I've always had a great time. I usually take the weekend off anyways and have people over, to the chagrin of my wife. She would prefer that, people weren't over the house, a bunch of smelly nerds. In which case, every time she mentions smelly nerds, I say that 2 out of the 4 people are her best friend and her brother. So it makes my argument that much better. Now, what do you guys really want to see in terms of the in-game prize? I keep calling it a prize, but for Heroes of the Storm, Josh, what do you want it to be?
I think it's going to be kind of what we talked about before. It's just going to be a hero that they're going to introduce that's going to be free for us, and then everyone else is going to have to pay for it. I don't think they're going to give you any exclusive in-game skin or item that's going to make you different than anyone else in it. I think it's just going to be like, oh, we're going to release the hero around that time, but all you guys get it for free because you're here, and the virtual ticket holders, as for everyone else, is going to have to pay 10,000 gold. I think that's going to be what it is.
And Ben?
Cho'Gall in a skin. No, probably not. I'm not that fortunate. It's probably going to be a hero. If it's not a hero, then see, part of me wants to try to lean on the whole skin thing, but then I'm kind of sitting here thinking well, not everybody would maybe necessarily have that hero. So if they gave you the skin, would it sit in limbo until you bought the hero, or would they just give you the hero at the same time? It's gonna be something along those lines. I don't see anything. I don't see it. Sorry, being anything extra like a box of gold or anything else like that. I see it just being like a straight up hero, probably.
And Dave, what are your thoughts?
I don't think it's going to be a hero because I'm trying to figure out, sort of the way they give out cards for Hearthstone. They could give out a hero, but to follow the Hearthstone model, it's got to be a hero that sucks, right? It's basically unplayable. That's kind of what all their promo giveaways have been for Hearthstone. It's like, it's great to have ETC, really cool card. No, basically nobody plays them, right? And I don't think it's a skin to what Ben was saying, because it would kind of suck if they give you a skin for a hero you don't play. What I think they're going to give out is a mount, because that's something that pretty much most heroes can play, and pretty much almost every player can use at some point. So I think it's going to be a special BlizzCon mount.
The Blizz Bear?
Could be a Blizz Bear, could be something, maybe a little like forklift takes you around the convention hall. I don't know what it's going to be, but I think it's going to be a mount.
Kind of coming into the show, I'm like, oh, it's going to be a skin. But it's going to be like a cheesy skin that says like, it's like a T-shirt for ETC that says I was at BlizzCon 2014 or something. But now that you mentioned that, a mount, I'm like, huh.
Yeah, I didn't think about a mount.
I got it.
Sounds really like a good idea.
The Arena Undead Gladiator horse, but the flag on the back is going to be BlizzCon 2014 instead.
Well, you know what the thing is? Let's anticipate what the big announcement might be. It might be Legacy of the Void, right? So maybe it'll be some kind of Protoss related thing, perhaps. I don't know what Protoss mounts would be. I don't think there are any.
You get to ride a pylon. Not a pylon.
Dude, I would so ride a pylon.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
That would be very uncomfortable, and it wouldn't move.
Oh man.
There's your show title, Adam.
Ben would totally ride a pylon.
Love it.
No. What is it? The Gatherer. I can't think of the name of it right now.
A drone or
It's a Zergs have drone probes.
Probe,
there you
yeah.
go. You get to ride a
Probes.
probe instead of a
Alright.
pylon, I guess.
This sounds no better than a pylon.
your warriors have engaged the enemy.
But
Sounds no more comfortable.
But no, I agree. I really, at this point now, I think it's going to be a mount. Because that's something where, you always can use it no matter what hero you have. And it's not a hero that nobody else is going to get, so you're not going to hear the complaining.
Yeah. The mount I can see too. So to me, it's going to be either a mount or a hero. That's the only thing it can be.
Mm-hmm.
The only way they can do a skin is if it's going to be like, if they start introducing like universal skins to where it can map to any character in the game.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the only way, which I think that would take
that's a
too
lot of
much work.
Like a ton of animation.
Yeah, like how like armor is in Warcraft, the shoulders fit. Like the rogue shoulders fit on every rogue of every race, something like that. But like you said, it's a lot of extra work that doesn't need to be done.
That's a ton of animation.
Plus, think from a themed perspective, almost everything they've always given out at BlizzCon has been something like a Murloc or ETC, and we kind of already have them in the game. Like I think they have to do something different.
Mm-hmm. It's almost the other thing I'd say might be is do whatever they do for Murky in the game. Like we had Merkablo and the Merkalot. They're just going to take that skin and put it to Heroes of the Storm. So you get it in 2 games.
I would play Merc a lot.
And the weird thing that the other thing I was thinking of was when like StarCraft 2 you can kind of pick the decal you put on your base and buildings and stuff. If they added like a decal slot on your buildings and then you could put them on there if you're like on a team or if you were the team leader, they would be yours. That'd be pretty cool. That's the only other thing I could think of, but that's like creating a whole brand new part of the game in order to do it.
I don't see that.
Yeah,
I know.
Maybe for the clan mode system they were talking about, but
yeah, if you're playing in a whole clan, that'd be cool because they do have that in StarCraft. The little hologram thing. I think it spins, doesn't it, Ben? You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember.
I've seen it. I don't know how to do it, so I never had one.
Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts on the virtual ticket, or I think we pretty much talked about it as much as we can.
Dude, just that hype, man. Like, we're getting close. It's like, it's happening. I remember back when we were all like buying our tickets, we're sitting on Skype, just like, refresh, just like waiting to get in. Like, it's finally happening. It's definitely going to be awesome.
I just officially put in my vacation time. So I found out I had a bunch of extra days off. So I'm actually going to have the 30th through the 9th off. And then I'm going to go back to work for 2 or 3 days. And then I'm going to have the 13th through the 16th off or something like that. So I'm going to end up having like a ton of time off within that 2 weeks. It's going to be a great time. I just can't wait. You know, I think the next thing we're going to see is a schedule. So we'll know kind of what their plans are. I think that's what's going to tell us what the big announcement's going to be. And it's going to be Legacy of the Void, I think.
It has to be.
No.
I mean, unless they have a new game they're going to announce.
I don't think Legacy of the Void is going to be on the schedule. Like, if they're going to do an announcement, it's going to be like
StarCraft and like panel.
Yeah, it'll just be like StarCraft panel. They've done StarCraft panels before too, so I mean, we're not going to know anything until like the opening ceremony.
Unless they do it like last year when they gave away the name of the expansion before the announcement on the virtual ticket.
Oh yeah, kind of like man. And then with PAX East just kind of finishing up, we did see some interviews with Dustin Browder through Blizz Planet and GameSpot. I can't believe I have to say this again. We don't care about the Lost Vikings anymore. We know they're coming.
Yeah, stop asking the question. Jesus, like, if you are an interviewer, I'm sure you have seen other people do interviews for this game. Like, if you haven't, you are clearly not doing your job as, what is it? Are they technically journalists?
Yeah.
Okay, you are not doing your
That's
job.
being debated recently.
I wasn't sure whether or not I was like, should I call it a journalist or what do we call that? But no, you are not doing your job properly by investigating what they've talked about previously. Like, stop asking the same question. Because I'm telling you right now, dude, if I actually get a chance at BlizzCon to ask them a question, it's not going to be about Lost Vikings. So...
Like I've said, and I'll say it again, if I get up in line and I'm one away from asking the question, and I miss asking my question because they ask about Lost Vikings, I might rage in the middle of the auditorium. That is a definite possibility.
I'm going to get in line and be like, so, when can we expect Lost Vikings in the game?
You'll see me coming from a mile away.
See chairs flying everywhere. I'm like, oh crap, here comes Adam.
You feel the ground shaking.
After that, start asking them about balancing issues with Lost Vikings and bugs in Lost Vikings and all this stuff, like the lore.
What testing phase are you in with the Lost Viking heroes right now? For
really complain about a specific issue that happened only to you.
Oh man, they're also talking about the number of heroes that they're going to have in the game, but they don't feel as though they're going to run out of ideas. And that it's not only when they start repeating heroes too much is where they'll stop putting them out. I mean, it's they got creative people there. If I feel if Riot can come out with 130 different heroes that all have a little bit different.
Let's back the train up a little bit here, okay?
Yeah.
Two things. Number one, okay, Blizzard has an entire archives and arsenal to work with as far as heroes are concerned. So we shouldn't be worried on that, but to play off of that, if they ever slightly start to run out of an idea, all you can do is look at the community, because they've taken ideas from the community before, and there are incredibly creative people out in the community that will definitely give them all kinds of ideas. Secondly, Riot's champions, I'm sorry to say, are basically copy and pasted abilities from others. A lot of the champions that were coming out when we were getting into the 90 and the 100 stretch and the 110 stretch, a lot of them had almost pretty identical abilities to the other ones. They just took them and put them together. So not really creative. Sorry. I'm definitely going to slap that one down.
Well, then you just proved my point even more. So if Riot can fake come up with 130, Blizzard can definitely come up with 130.
Thank you. I'll accept that.
That was the end of my sentence. If Riot could do that and even make it seem somewhat, new with each hero, then Blizzard can, 100%. So I think we're going to see, you figure if they stick, I think they said it was about 4 to 6 weeks they're aiming for new heroes. That's really only, 12 at most a year. So we got a long time.
And that's definitely not bad. I mean, I feel like when I was playing League, dude, like Riot was just flooding the market with new champions every couple weeks. I was getting tired of it. I was like, stop it. There's no need for this.
And
just like go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, here's the thing, though. Like you said, they were flooding it. Like, it was every, 2 or 3 weeks they were putting them out. They got up to a big number. And now they release them, every 2 to 3 months now?
I don't even follow it anymore.
Yeah, it's about every I feel like it's every 2 to 3 months from what I see.
They're running out of actual unique ideas, let alone, I mean, look at the balance of this isn't a League cast, but I mean, the balance of the game, like, so many champs are not even getting played, not even getting remotely touched and ranked at all. So it's just not worth it.
They're even, I don't know if you guys saw, they're rewriting the lore for League.
There's lore in League?
Yeah.
Yep, there is.
Oh yeah, there's the little
They're rewriting
tiny
it.
tidbits here and there.
Yeah, they've been rewriting little pieces here and there. Every hero kind of has their lore. They all have like who they're friends with and who their enemies are.
It's like, yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, it's,
Things are coming out.
yeah, it's nothing too in depth.
Yeah.
But in terms of balancing, I mean, is that why they brought Ghostcrawler over? You know, they're like, hey, we need help. What do we do?
They probably offered him like an extreme paycheck and was all like, "Yo, dude, we need you to defect."
Yeah.
And probably took secrets with him. But
He doesn't have to deal with grandmas anymore, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
that infamous line.
I was gonna say.
I'm waiting for all
People
these
took that
weak-playing
so the
grandmas
wrong
to bug
way.
him.
No, yeah, I feel like they took it the wrong way. He was just
they
trying to
totally
say there was just a wide variety of people, and he said if he said anything else, you know, it would have gone the wrong way no matter what. I thought grandma's was probably his best option.
So
Poor
back
Spock.
to Heroes of the Storm, I guess, right?
Yes, exactly.
Any of you guys kind of disappointed that Deathwing? There's no plans for Deathwing as a playable hero just because of his immense size, and that maybe he'll be a boss on a map instead.
I think that's
would
a
like to
cop
say,
out
I
answer.
think I called that ages ago. I believe I mentioned that in an
Okay.
old podcast that I think if Deathwing shows up, he'll be like a big a map mechanic, not a person.
I remember this episode.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's a cop out answer because he has a humanoid form, which is much smaller. So why not just put that form in the game and give him some special like casting abilities?
Who wants to play as humanoid Deathwing, though?
Okay, well maybe one of his ultimates is to turn into giant Deathwing and fly across the map and do something cool. But my point is, for the sake of getting him in the game, it's a cop out answer.
Yep. I mean, because basically what they're saying is there's no Deathwings. I mean, there's certainly going to be no Alexstrasza, no Dormu, Malagos, Caligos.
Well, do they really have any powers in human form?
Yeah, they're powerful magi.
Hey man, Caligos can pick up Jaina. That's a good power.
That is a good power.
I mean, Crassus goes back into the, War of the Ancients time, and he's still a badass wizard at that point, right?
Thank you. I totally forgot about that.
So,
Did you ever notice how Blizzard's killing off all the characters from that book, by the way?
That's because they don't want Richard Knack to exist anymore in their lore.
Basically.
Well-
like a retcon thing.
One thing we have to think of, though, like Deathwing is bigger than all the other dragons. So they could always bring in the other dragons. Deathwing's, the biggest of them all, so...
But I'm just saying we just don't have to bring him in dragon form. Like, people just need to see past that. You can still capture the epic scale of Deathwing without his dragon form. You put in great voice acting, you put in good mechanics, and then you somehow introduce his dragon form in some manner or another. It'll be good. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't want to play a human dragon.
You know what? Fine. I'm gonna
Give
go.
me dragon.
I'm gonna go design it. Let me make it.
Yeah, I think I'd have a problem with like the Dragon Knight looking bigger than Deathwing in any form. Like it's just kind of like, okay, like I'm the baddest of the bad, and it's like, yeah, but my Murky just turned into a Dragon Knight and he's kicking your ass. Like it would be kind of
But then
tough to swallow.
then you'll have a problem with that. With really, I think Diablo, Asmodan, all of them are supposed to be big creatures. They should be bigger than the Dragon Knight.
True.
The thing is, though, with using human forms for the dragons, is like it'd be pointless then, because if
Well,
they're just
I gotta agree
if
with
they're just
Josh.
mages, use other mages. If you can't turn them into a dragon, then it's like there's no point.
I'm saying you can introduce abilities that turn them into their dragon form, but just don't keep them like that. Like I'd say maybe like one of his ultimates is where he turns in a dragon form, and I'm not saying let's cover the whole map with him, but let's say maybe make him twice the size of the Dragon Knight, and he does something. I don't know, like he flies over and demolishes
Like
a bunch of crap. I
Cindergosa?
don't know. Maybe a
Kinda
little
like
bit,
that, just a little line.
or takes a poop on Alliance like he did where he stormed in on Stormwind, and I don't know
Actually
something.
be a cool. You know, it'd be a cool map with this mechanic is like one of these things where you get the objective and you trigger one of the dragons to fight for you, and it's totally random or something like that.
Oh yeah, that would be
Like
good.
where all of a sudden like Malagos like improves your mana or something or your ability power, but you're not going to know who it is until it triggers, and then you kind of have to adapt to it. And then like so if you get all of them or something like that, like you get the objectives 5 times, that's when Deathwing comes up and just like, you know, that's your level, you know, rank 25, just end the game move, right? Kind of thing.
Or, you know, another thing, like I kind of playing on your idea is where they have different like objectives around the map, so it doesn't, you know, and you take certain objectives to call for certain aspects, so you can almost play the strategy of who do we want to get into this match at this time.
Yeah.
You know, this, David.
Like think about like Nosdormu like speeding you up or something like that, right? Like just little like different things, right?
Yeah, it's like,
and maybe the other guys are getting someone else, like you're saying.
right,
So.
and then you fight over who has who, so you get them for the rest of the match, but then somebody can take them back, and then you can kind of work from there. Man, you should send that idea over to Blizzard. It sounds like a fun
Well,
map.
just make Blizzard if you're listening.
Blizzard, if you're listening.
Send the check.
We know you
Toronto,
are.
Ontario.
So, I know on the forums, a lot of people have been complaining about how certain heroes don't have like the mount variations because they don't carry mounts, and I think Dustin Browder was like, "It's okay, you'll survive. Some heroes are going to have mounts and others won't.
I'm okay with
It's
it.
okay." I feel like they need to do something at that level and just don't put the skin variation. Maybe say, you know, here's 100 golds for your trouble.
See, in today's day and age, people just need to get over it. Not everything is going to be the same. There's not going to be equal benefits to everybody. Calm down. You know what I'm saying? Andovan, calm down, bro.
Calm the Falstad down.
Yeah. This is a family podcast, David.
We don't speak of Falstad here.
Man. They were also talking, the most important thing that they talked about was they kind of talked about Chen a little bit. So it's
Who?
Chen, you know, Storm Stout.
Who's that?
You know, they were talking how he's going to be drinking from his keg in the middle of battle. I kind of like a non-mana based champions. Those are some of my favorites. I like the interesting mechanics. But I do want to say they should not take away Storm, Earth, and Fire because it said it may not be final. I really like that. That's like the iconic monk ability is Storm, Earth, and Fire.
I hope they got
I
that
wouldn't
crap
say
out.
iconic.
Yank it
Why
right
wouldn't you
out.
say iconic?
Because it's like, I don't see him like everywhere. Do you see him from the healing aspects?
No, I'm talking iconic as in Warcraft 3. Like when you first met the Brewmaster, like that was his ability. Like, and then when they finally gave it to the Windwalkers, that was the best thing ever. It's like, yes, someone should have it.
Well, they probably... Maybe they'll have to tweak it someday. Maybe they're testing it at PAX. It seemed too powerful. Maybe
Well,
they'll have to nerf it.
yeah, they said it's there to give him survivability. It's like, which one are you going to attack?
Yeah.
I hope they got
I
it just to
love-
mess with you.
Ben?
I knew you wanted it.
No, Ben.
They're not even going to add him to the game. They're just teasing you.
Yeah.
Just trying to
That would be
tickle
the
ya.
worst thing ever.
I am kind of hoping that they do bring the D3 monk in, though, just to get kind of more of a pure monk. Like, I don't have to be a big panda bear to be a monk in the game.
Yes. Oh my God, I agree with David on something.
I agree with you too.
stop the podcast. We're over.
That's it. I'm out of here. Drop the mic.
Nope, I agree with you as well because I want it so that way you can have 5 monks on one team. So I agree with you 100%. That's what we were talking about on, or I was talking with monk meditation friends. You know, it's like we need Taranzu, we need the monk from Diablo, and then Chen, Lili, and one other.
Yeah,
The funniest
they
thing
are
was-
all. Oh, go
I
ahead.
was on the subway, and like, swear to God, these like 2 Buddhist monks came on the subway right next to me, and like they're like fully dressed out and everything like that. And I know I'm playing too many Blizzard games because I was trying to figure out which one of them was the Windwalker and which was the Brewmaster.
Oh, God.
Which one had a flask on his hip?
That just...
There
That's
it
it.
is.
I lost all my goodwill.
There's the tension between David and Ben again.
Nubarak is going to be high mobility. It looks like,
Yes, sir.
which is good. I think that'll probably make him probably top tier because I think mobility at this point in the game is super important. Be able to get in and out of combat as you need to. What would you think, Ben?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we need not a whole lot of the Warriors right now have a lot of high mobility. They've got like really good engage mechanics, but not as much high mobility. And I think this is definitely going to be kind of like an interesting mix-up to that. Somebody who can initiate and get out really quickly is going to be kind of cool. Not to mention, I mean, if anybody's really actually looked at the Anubarak video, dude has a lot of control, man. Like, jump in, initiate, he can web somebody down. I mean, it's going to be pretty
Spikes,
interesting.
Right? Line of spikes with stuns.
Yeah, dude, he's going to have a lot of control mechanics. That makes me wonder, how tanky is he going to be? Because we were... if you look at some of the guys like Stitches can definitely take a beating, Diablo can definitely take a beating,
and they're not that mobile either compared to a new
exactly. But like Sonya's not as beefy, but she can take a little bit. Murden's okay. Murden's really good when he pops his ultimate, but when he doesn't pop his ultimate, he's a little paper-ish, maybe some cardboard layer.
But he has a lot of stuns, that's why. So I think I think a noob's going to be similar to him in terms of tankiness, because Murden you can pretty much make it so all but one ability is the stun.
Yeah.
So I think Murden's probably a good idea of what we're expecting in terms of tankiness.
I'm hoping for a little bit more, but then again, yeah, it just might be like overly broken. I just have high hopes for him. I've always liked the Nubarak. And the idea of him, so hopefully it won't be a disappointment, but see what happens. He's going to get changed within a couple weeks anyways, as soon as they release him, so.
Yeah, I mean, we can expect that for every hero that comes out, except for Zagara. Zagara didn't seem to get that many kind of nerfs after she came out.
She wasn't really broken when she came out. I mean, like, her abilities were really kind of cool, unique to play with. Speaking of which, man, we played with a really good Zagara last night. That creep spread all over the map had to be a Zerg player. Had to be a Zerg player because that creep was everywhere. But going back, no, I mean, the banelings weren't overpowered. Like you weren't dropping forts in a matter of seconds. So I really feel like they did okay with balancing on that part.
In terms of different game modes, there's no discussion for a free-for-all mode, which is something that I personally don't even care about. I think it would change too much of the balancing of the heroes to make a free-for-all mode fun.
I agree. It's something that has never even crossed my mind.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do with Abathur, in a free-for-all? It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, in a free-for-all mode, everybody needs to be able to beat everybody else or something.
Well, here's the thing. Like, granted, we have to make choices right now because we're in technical alpha and we have to get the game as ready for release as possible, which means ranked mode, getting it esports compatible because they've already confirmed that the esports community is growing. We're going to do it with or without Blizzard support, so they might as well get behind it, and they are. But we shouldn't just automatically shut down these ideas because there's plenty of fun things that we can do just in regular versus mode where it doesn't matter. It's not, we're not playing for anything. So, as they talked about in all these different interviews they had, they can make a map in literally 2 days. All right, that's to flush out all the mechanics and all that other stuff. You go back with a little bit extra time and polish it, make it look good. But we could do things like, we talked about in team practice the other night, a 10v10 Arathi Basin. Dude, that would be amazing. Like, there's so many things you could do with this engine and height differences, and you could actually still knock people off the top of Lumber Mill. It'd be a little weird in how it would work, but it's very possible, and we've seen that the engine can do stuff like that. So we can put that kind of stuff into verses. We don't have to really worry about like balancing and all this other stuff. Let's not shut down the ideas immediately. That's my thought.
No, I agree, and that's why I think the map editor is going to really be so much fun because you can actually make your own maps and then challenge somebody to your lopsided map that the good side on.
I'm totally going to make maps when this comes out. It's going to be so awesome.
And then, like they said, draft mode, rank mode, are they need to get out there. And they were saying within draft mode, you'll actually be able to see the map you're going to play on, so you can pick the best composition for that map. I mean, I think we were talking about that for a while, that we think that that we need that capability in order to really make it more competitive when you know the map ahead of time.
Exactly.
So, let's see, what else are we kind of seeing? In terms of battlegrounds, the ladder battleground rotation should be around 68 maps. I think we were talking about that before. I think that's something we talked. And that they're going to last every 3 to 4 months. So you're going to be looking at like roughly 3 or 4 seasons a year at that point. I think that's a pretty good number. What are your thoughts?
That's not bad at all. I mean, there's no reason, number one, to have it extremely fast, because you're going to be spending, like, let's say we did it like every 2 months. You spend all this time building a map and balancing it, and then it just pops out of rotation in 2 months and goes into a pool that nobody cares about anymore. So I definitely think 3 to 4 months is a little bit more solid. It's kind of a natural season progression, and I think that's how seasonal play should be, is season based. So.
David, do you have any kind of interest in like the seasonal play, or what do you think you're going to be doing mostly?
No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think what they talked about it being 3 to 4 months, I think that makes a lot of sense. When the interviewer was talking about every week, I that threw me off a little bit as well, because people may not have the time to play every week, and you kind of don't want to be going in completely blind as well. There's going to be people starting the game. We've been playing this game for a long time now, and there's going to be people who are basically starting out new, and they're going to want some kind of stability to be able to learn the game. So I agreed with absolutely everything that they said. I really liked. I just liked the whole attitude as well that came off from the interview. Just the idea, from what we were talking about before concerning, some of the heroes are going to be different than other heroes. That's the way it's going to be. We want these kind of steady seasons. It was just, the whole vibe was very, very positive. I really liked that Blizz Planet interview. It was a little hard to hear at times, but I really liked the entire direction that they were talking about.
No, yeah, I like the direction. I like everything. I very rarely can say that I disagree with something Dustin Browder said through that interview, other than just keep talking about Lost Vikings. But I think he was saying they want to make it accessible to the large audience, just like Hearthstone. Everyone can play it, but not everyone's going to be super competitive and top tier. And that's what Blizzard does great with all their games. Everyone can play their games. You can jump in, have fun. But if you really want to push and be one of the best in the world, you can do that. It's more in-depth than it would seem from the beginning. And they also talked a little bit about body blocking, where they don't see it as being a problem yet. But they're always watching it, see kind of what's going on. I personally like it because it does add that like kind of little bit of strategy in there. It's like, okay, stop them from getting out of there, and then we'll nuke them down.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, since I didn't get to talk about the seasons.
Oh, sorry.
Just jumped right over me.
Hey man, you
gotta
gotta
jump in sometimes.
Yeah,
Josh was banned.
I'm very excited about these seasons myself as well. 3 to 4 months is perfect. I think, didn't they? Correct me if I'm wrong, Ben, but didn't they start doing like the seasons, short term, kind of like that when Heart of the Swarm came out?
Yeah, they weren't as long as they used to be. I don't remember if it's exactly correlated to that or not, but yeah, they're not as long as they used to be.
And I think they learned from that of what a good season is, because I know with Diablo, their seasons are going to be 2 to 3 months long. So I like the idea of that seasons are not going to be drawn out for 10 months, 12 months at a time. And this way you get that fresh start every couple months to do rank back up in heroes and go through that stuff again, which to me I think is fun. I like that for replay value. If it's going to be the same thing for 12 months, like okay, well, I'll play for a couple months, and then where I stop at the ladder, then I'll be good.
And there's always that kind of feel for like the seasonal play, especially if like you're in a competitive atmosphere. Whereas I don't really know how to explain this well, so I'm just going to try to spitball it a little bit. But like when I was playing an ESCA for Counter-Strike with my buds, and you're like, the season's coming up, and you're preparing for that season. You have like a little bit of downtime in between. You're just trying to like perfect little things, and then when the season starts to come into play and everybody's like scrimming, and then finally the season kicks in and it matters. Every time we're playing, it matters, and it's all about that W. And then you have like little moments of downtime, and then there's that big build up towards the end of the season when it finally ends and who's on top and who's not. And then you have like a small breather before the next one. And there's something about that whole atmosphere that I really like, and so I think that as long as we go in with this kind of setup, I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. The seasons and ranks in this game is going to be very competitive and a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Any final thoughts on either of the Justin Browder interviews?
I would suggest for people listening to it, if you know a lot about the game, listen to the Blizz Planet interview. If you don't, listen to the GameStop interview, because that's pretty much, I was listening to the GameStop interview and I kind of stopped halfway through because I'm like, this is just sort of, Heroes 101.
Yep.
Spot.
I feel like all the interviews are now becoming 101 cents instead of us like really expanding on advanced knowledge, which I guess is a little disappointing to me. I mean, I understand why they do it, but at this point, we've been having the 101 interviews for almost a year now. So maybe it's time we advance a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it seems like with people they don't really do interviews with too much, they're still marketing the game to them. As for if we were to get them on the show, or some other fan site was to get them, I'm sure they will get a lot more in-depth, detailed questions. I just think they're still trying to market the game to a new audience of people they're not usually getting questioned by.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. It's you get excited because there's an interview out there for us, and then we're like, oh, it's this interview again.
Yeah.
But like, they should just come interview us and we could answer the questions for them.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I thought the Blizz Planet one was pretty good, because I think that was the target that they were going for, but it's just I could barely hear them through the interview just because they were on the convention floor. So, But it was pretty good.
Now, in other news, we did get some new master skins that we got to look at, which makes me think we're getting closer to a patch, as it seems like it's really getting set up to have a lot in the patch, at least one hero, and probably, all these master skins, and probably master skins, I think, for the hero they're putting out, because it seems like Rhaegar, they made sure to have the master skin to go out first. And as Dave said, we'll put it, and I'll let him kind of start off with whoever he wants. It's the fashion show.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna do my thumbs up and thumbs down. So the star of the red carpet, I'm gonna give to Tychus. I like the little bit of color that they've added. I like the fire blazing mini cannon. I like the little playing card spade that he's got on there. Looks very Tychus. Looks very cool. I'm gonna give a tie to worst to Raynor. Raynor's is really boring. I don't really think a whole lot of it. It doesn't do a lot for me. It doesn't look a lot different than what he just normally is walking around with. And I'm going to give a tentative worst to Tyrael. Now, I don't know if this is because they've changed the color format, and this is certainly not my judgment on his, personal sexuality, but he kind of looks like he's wearing a cone bra. Like those little things that hold his tunic, or like a coconut bra. Like I'm waiting for him to have like a grass skirt. Like it just doesn't, for some reason. And then I looked at his regular look, and it kind of is the same, but for some reason it doesn't seem as obvious, and it's just it just seems very odd, especially with the picture from the side. So I mean, it's great to sort of copy, Madonna circa Blonde Ambition and all, but it just, for me, that Tyrael could go for a different look.
Yeah,
Dude,
look like they just stick out so much. I didn't even realize that until you just mentioned it. I mean,
I every time I look at it now, that's all I'm thinking, man.
The picture from the side on heroesnexus.com, I'm like, yeah, I thought that's not an illusion. That's 3D.
Yeah, that's a little big.
Does he stuff it with socks? What's going on there? I know you're new to this mortality thing, and you can go whatever way you want to go, but
But quit with the donuts already, man. No.
Dude, I just noticed this too, man. This is gonna be a little weird, but the backside image, it kind of looks like he's got like a feminine pose going on, man.
A little bit, and
Staying around the hips a little bit.
yeah,
Wow.
he's got like a little, it's a little curvy there.
He's
it's
floating.
Yeah, he's floating. I mean, it's like, yeah, and plus the tunic kind of gives it that like streamlined thing. I mean, I may have to upgrade him to best dress depending on if this was a purposely done. I don't know, but definitely it was a daring move on Tyrael's part to wear that to the show.
Mm-hmm. No, it's funny that you mentioned that because I didn't even see that. I'm like, I realized it didn't look quite right, and I didn't, seeing as I played a lot of Tyrael and I was waiting for his master skin, and I saw this and I was a little underwhelmed, and now it all falls together once you mentioned that. I mean, Josh, what about you? Who would you give kind of best, worst?
Well, my worst is it's kind of, for me, I feel bad for giving it the worst, but you can't really do much with it. Was Brightwing. It's just like a little color alternation in the horns. And you can't really do too much with it unless you put it in like a mecha costume, which I would have preferred, honestly.
Mecha Brightwing.
Yeah,
Mothra.
exactly.
Mothra.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like a Mothra style, but I mean, it is what it is. I personally like them all. That's just probably my least favorite. I would say my favorite, which you left out, I really, really like Nova. And my second, you're going to hate me, but I really like Tyrael's. I'm not going to lie. I think he looks cool. And I can look past the man boobs. But I mean, I just like his look. He just looks like a beefier, because his armor's bigger, of course, and stuff like that. His shoulders and stuff like that. He just looks like he has more power to him. I like it, but I know you guys don't, but that's fine. I like to be the oddball out. But other than that, I mean, I honestly like them all a lot. This is the first time they showed multiple heroes at once where I'm like, oh, I like them all. And Tychus is sweet. Rainer's is kind of not too different. Like, you saw him walk around on the field, you won't really see him much different. But I like his little shoulder, like the designs he put on his shoulders and stuff. But like you said, when you're going to be walking around the field, you're not really going to notice a master skin of him walking around because it doesn't look too different.
Mm-hmm. He's got an eye patch too, right? Or,
Does he?
Or an optical thing, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, over his
That's
eye.
gonna be easy to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey man, it's the little things that count.
Yeah.
That's what you just keep telling yourself. Oh, no. Just kidding.
Snaps.
So Ben, what was your favorite?
So, number one, probably Tychus. It really makes me want to. I mean, I was already playing Tychus a lot, but this week I've done almost nothing but play Uther for the team. So this really makes me want to play Tychus a lot more. It's a nice variation to what we had, because I mean, the infected skin is pretty cool, but like the color variants on the normal skin really weren't that different. So I mean, the others like, they're kind of cool, but they really didn't like change the model that much like some of the other ones did. Like the Nova color variations changed her a lot. The Tychus ones didn't really do that. So this is a really cool step in the Tychus direction, and it adds a lot of new flavor to him. But right behind that, dude, like Tide, like is Zeratul. I mean, that's what is that? Is that a Tall Dareem Zeratul, or I don't know if I forget what the other faction is, but the Zeratul is definitely pretty impressive. As far as the worst, Brightwing. Josh covered it. There's not a lot you can really do with Brightwing. I just didn't really feel like they did much with it. That really does it justice. Just like the Arthas Master Skin, I really didn't feel like they did much to like earn that, the name Master Skin.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, for the most part, a lot of them look good. The Nova one looks good. I wasn't a huge fan of the hair, but it definitely looks pretty good. Tyrael, I think, needs some work, though, touching on all the things we just talked about. Rainer, I like what they did with the shoulder pads, but I wasn't overly impressed with it. But the shoulder pads are a nice touch. So,
Yeah, I agree with you pretty much almost completely, because especially Brightwing. Because with Brightwing, it's almost like like you said, oh, it'd be cool if they did a mecha Brightwing, but that's a whole nother skin you're gonna have to pay for. These are all things that are the basic skin with just a couple key improvements. So, Zeratul is really cool. The only thing with the Zeratul that kind of throws me off is like he has that like long snout on him that kind of dangles, almost makes him look like an elephant.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but that's on the other ones too.
Is it?
But it doesn't look like that on the other ones.
That's Zeratul's and anytime you see him, he has that shroud.
It probably maybe
It's just not as long, but he does have it.
Well, no, there's a couple different the High Templar one. It's that long.
Mm-hmm.
There are moments in the StarCraft series where it's that long, but not all of the moments. It depends on what timeline you see him. But he's always got a type of shroud over his face that hangs down a little bit.
Yeah, maybe it's just this one seems like very obvious, and like the design just kind of stuck to me to make it look like a. I just had to bring it up real quick because I'm like, okay, I want to see this. And
I think this is a good example of why art design is so hard, because like if you just look at little tweaks that they've done, all of a sudden Tyrael looks like Carmen Miranda and Zeratul looks like Mr. Snuffleupagus.
And then people go on the internet and like just totally blast it.
Yes.
In a podcast.
I think I figured out what it is. I looked at a picture of Zeratul and I looked at this. All the other stuff, it like looks like flat. Like you said, like it's just like a flat piece that goes down. This looks like it's like this and kind of goes like that. Almost gives it like a 3D look. Well, more 3D. And I think that's why it makes it look like more like a nose. But I'm not. That being said, I think the whole thing overall looks really, really great with Zeratul. I like Nova, and Raynor is just. I think they need to do a little bit more. Maybe just change up the colors a little bit. So it might be just something you have to see the different skin, color variations in order to kind of see where it looks good and where it doesn't. Because we are only seeing one color variation when there are going to be three.
I'm saying right now, anybody at Blizzard who may listen to this, going back to the beginning of Heart of the Swarm in the beginning cinematics, when Raynor approaches the lab where Kerrigan is, the Marines that are guards for the science lab get that skin for either Tychus or Raynor, because that is an awesome Marine suit.
Agreed. Oh, you know what else it is about Zeratul? Sorry, it just hit me. You usually see the top of his head more.
That could be it too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I do like it. I'm just like now I'm starting to realize the differences and why it just looks a little off. But I don't think it looks so much off anymore. Just still looks like Snuffleupagus. Anything else about the skins? I'm excited to see them in the game. Start seeing some people play with them.
I linked a skin in chat and an image of what they need, because it's in one of the. Sorry, I had to do that. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Mm-hmm. Oh no! Oh wow! Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not a coincidence that some of the coolest skins are all the StarCraft skins, right? Like everything else just seems like it's got a little like got all 90s comic booked up, like a little more spikes, a little more pouches kind of thing. Whereas like to me Tassadar is one of my favorite skins. I think that's really good, and I think Zeratul really looks great until we pointed out the whole snout thing. I thought that one was pretty good
until we ruined it.
Yeah, and Tychus looks great, and really Raynor's only doesn't look great just because it doesn't seem that far off.
That's the beauty about sci-fi, is that you don't have really too much limitations. You can go crazy. You don't have to keep it. You don't have to keep it fantasy based, or you know what I mean.
Yeah. Although the cool thing is, if you look at the Raynor one and you look at him from like behind, it looks like he's stolen Tyrael's man boobs and put them on his back as a trophy.
God,
you're obsessed with those man boobs.
Yeah, I can't stop looking at them
because his normal suit has those anyways.
I know, that's the weird thing. Never noticed it before. Now it's like he's really out there.
Tychus has them too. It's a man boob conspiracy.
Kinda saggy,
here we go.
He's kind of hanging low though.
And anyways,
moving on from that.
This weird conversation.
Yes. I don't even know where to go.
This is what you get when you hit the hour mark. It all goes down from here.
I know. Oh, man. So, in final news, and just kind of basic esports news, like we like to kind of cover quickly on this story, is that we have got some more news about the Heroes Premier League, which is being done by NexusChamp.com. Basically, it's just another league. They've added a couple more players. Their schedule starts, I believe, this coming week. A lot of esports kind of coming through at this point, huh, Ben?
Dude, excited. Making me really excited. We had our first esports episode on last Sunday. It was pretty good. We had some technical difficulties. Ran a little bit longer than we should have, but we had ESV Diamond on there. Definitely want to thank ESV Diamond again for coming out and providing great knowledge and talking about the ECS. Esports is where a lot of my love and a lot of my passion lies with a lot of things gaming related. Counter-Strike, StarCraft, a ton of it, and being this, we're all, or at least me, I am been intensely waiting for esports competition with this game and really more depth esports coverage as far as when Blizzard starts to come on board. It is an exciting time in here, especially for guys like us that are fortunate enough to be in the alpha and to actually play against these guys who, I don't know if I really want to consider them pros right now, even though they have professional gamers on their roster like LZ Gamer and Idra playing for Snowflake. We had the opportunity to play against these kind of guys, and it's an amazing time right now in Heroes, and it's definitely just going to keep getting bigger. I'm extremely excited.
Josh, Ben, any thoughts on the kind of the esports that are kind of pushing forward now?
I'm excited to see where it goes. I just can't wait for it to be official, to where there's no workaround stuff, to get it working and all that stuff.
Right, straight up in server mode.
Exactly. And being able to challenge each other's team without actually having to, hopefully we get in with each against each other. I can't wait. Once this thing gets to that point of esports where you got the observer mode, you got the shoutcasting and everything, I'm going to be on it like crazy, watching it all the time. And just I'm very excited to see that bust out of this game, because it's going to happen. Blizzard, of course, doesn't want to say it's going to happen that way just in case it doesn't, and they can just say, well, it's up to the community to make it happen, because that's true. It is up to us to make it happen. And it will happen, because everyone I know that's interested in this game cannot wait for that stuff. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a fun time to watch. And I can't wait. It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everyone's got to do their part. You got to go and watch it. Make sure Blizzard knows that that's what we want. If you don't go watch it, download the video, stuff like that, then they'll never know that that's what we're interested in at this point. Any thoughts, David?
Yeah, no, I thought it was really great. I got a chance to listen to you guys' interview on the esports edition of Nexus, which was great, by the way. It was really, really fascinating. I think the way the community is approaching it is really good. They're respecting that Blizzard doesn't really want it to be in, cash tournaments and everything like that. I think the community's taking it at just the right pace. I think Blizzard's taking it at just the right pace. I'm excited to see what the presentation is like at BlizzCon in terms of competitive tournaments there and everything like that. That's going to be definitely one of the things I'm most excited about watching on the virtual ticket as well. So I think everything's kind of just going nicely, going as I've foreseen, as the Emperor would say.
Okay, well, I think that's about our time this week for the Nexus podcast. Ben, why don't you go ahead and let people know where they can get a hold of you?
As per normal, I'll be here on Friday nights and on our esports show on Sunday nights. Same time both days, 10 p.m. Eastern. Hit me up on Twitter at Stacks and Packs, STAKSNPAKS. Hit me up on there, get my battle tag. If you're in the Heroes Alpha, we can definitely play together. Just please do the objectives when we play. Had an experience this week where somebody added me and asked me to be the fifth in their group, and it was a full 5-man. Got on Cursed Hollow. They ignored every tribute that spawned. Every single one. So please, if you're going to play the way it's supposed to be played. But I'm more than happy to play with anybody, and you can tweet me on there and get a hold of me whenever you need.
And Josh, what about you? Where can people find or listen to you?
You can find me here at twitch.tv/Heroes of the Nexus every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find me on Twitter at Pakawan_AIE. It's spelled PAKKUAN_AIE. And if you guys are interested in World of Warcraft, you can find me on Last Stand Radio, which is the name of the World of Warcraft podcast I do at laststandradio.com.
And last but certainly not least, David, what about you?
I hope I'm not. You can find me on Twitter at BrillanCTR, BRILLAANCTR. And I'm always happy to chat and talk to you. You can also find me at catalystgamingmedia.com, where I write just about whatever I'm thinking about in terms of gaming, particularly Blizzard gaming. So it's a great site. There's a lot of great writers there, and of course, amazing podcasts there, including our own.
Mm-hmm. And you can reach me at Geek of Random on Twitter. You can, hit me up there to play games. Just, me and Ben tend to play a lot at night lately. You can reach the show directly at the Nexus Podcast. If you have any questions, concerns, I guess we could start doing the laundry list of annoying people who've told you off. You can send me a message over at show@heroesofthenexus.com. A quick reminder, the World of Podcasts Kickstarter is still available to kind of go there and help out. They're $95 short of their next goal, which will bring a fireside gathering to the event. What we're actually kind of hoping is once we get the fireside gathering kind of planned out, we might have like a small tournament there or something that I'll be kind of a part of myself. So go ahead and check that out. The link will be in the show notes, posted on the website. If you're in our live audience, thank you all for coming. If not, remember we record every Friday night at 10 Eastern Time at twitch.tv/Heroes of the Nexus. And if you do listen to our podcast through iTunes or Stitcher, give us thumbs up or 5 stars or whatever, and we'll read it out loud. It'll help us get the word out and get more people kind of listening to our show, and it's always a great time. And just like David said, we are members of Catalyst Gaming Media, where you can find bloggers, podcasters just like us, and video content creators. So go ahead on over to catalystgamingmedia.com for all that great content. Thank you all for coming, and we will see you all inside the Nexus. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. I'm gonna have so many chicken wings.
Okay, and you can stop the recording. Okay. Xantar showed up, and he said he is bad at Illidan now.
He probably hasn't played, I'm guessing, since the last time we played with them.
Oh, well, that would make sense. And he pulls out his classic Xantar quote, "Friends who play together, play together."
That's very true.
You can't go wrong with that statement. So I think we're going to bring the stream down pretty much right away today. I want to thank everyone again for coming. Had a great show. We will see you guys next week with question for you guys. Okay, we can answer the question. We'll just wait before I leave.
What is your question?
Yes, I have a corporeal form, in case that's the question.
Okay, well, that answers my question.
Okay, that's just mine. I have not been sucked into the computer.
My real question for you, David, is...
David Tron.
How is that ice cream?
The ice cream?
Yep, the one in your hand.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's, I wish it existed more. I wish it was, Oh, gotcha. Okay, that's the picture you're using. Yep. Okay, that was excellent ice cream at High Park. Fantastic. We were looking at our little zoo there, and the ice cream truck had come by, and sadly, I can never say no to the ice cream truck. So I figured that would nothing epitomize me more than that picture.
I should have, when you came over to Canton, I should have pretend I was an ice cream truck and got a lot of money out of you.
I think we needed a keg truck at that point.
Butter rum.
We're lucky we didn't end up in the paddy wagon.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and bring it down. The question was, when is a safe not a safe? He says, when you carry it on your back. Which
I can see the gears are turning.
I don't quite get, but everyone have yourselves a great night. Thanks again for coming.
2 sympathy bongos.